Vodafone presents the pre-match.
It's that time. It's our second series of the day, and it's NRG going up against EnVy, an EnVy squad that has, okay, they've not had terrible games, right? It's a brand new lineup. We didn't really know what to expect from them going into it, but they certainly haven't delivered, at least to the level that maybe that organization might expect them to do. NRG, on the other hand, okay, you had a bad performance at Star Ladder. You started off Pro League a little bit slower than we expected, but actually, they've started to kind of build their way back up into this, and we're getting Nuke Natu of all games, which, okay, we can't do much research on EnVy. They've literally played, yeah, no Nuke at all. They've played only about 8 games as this lineup, so this is a rough one, and we talk about the vetoes, right? Like, how did you let this slip in? Like, why would you do this? Because NRG is one of the few teams that would quite happily play Nuke as well.
Sure. I mean, for EnVy, it's really hard to judge yet. I mean, I guess we're going to get a bit of a sample size here now. Whether or not it's dumb to let Nuke go through. Yeah, obviously, I mean, NRG just in the last few months have been pretty solid, especially in their own region. Yeah. On Nuke, I think they've only lost it like once, and that was in New York against Mouse Sports. So, you know, things are looking pretty solid on that part. And generally speaking, I think this season for EnVy is more about just, you know, getting into it and getting the rhythm of things. On the other hand, for NRG, I mean, obviously, yes, okay, relatively disappointing Star Ladder, if you can call a top 4 a disappointment, obviously.
Well, the disappointment, right, when we compare them to what we expected going into it, right?
Indeed. The expectations were higher, especially after going 3-0 in the Swiss, and they paired up with Vega. You think, yes, definitely they're going to the finals, but they don't deliver. And again, you just look at the team and say that in normal situations when they're running with all cylinders, they make the right decisions. Yeah. The individuals play well, but whenever it gets nitty gritty, it feels like a couple of the guys just start kind of faltering. And Zerg, more often than not, kind of disappears from the picture.
And you can't have that, right? Because he is an instrumental player in this lineup. When he first joined as well, he was helping literally drag the NRG players kicking and screaming through games, but recently it has been a bit of a drop-off for him. Now, all players can have slumps, but his role is very vital to this.
We saw NRG play Rogue earlier this week on Nuke. They played, I think it was like a 9-6 first half, a CT half. They still managed to get a pretty convincing 16-9 win on the map. So, you know, that goes to show that the T side also is very, very good. Well, obviously the CT side, you only get 9 rounds. Yes, a little scrappy, but that's to be expected, especially if you get into money trouble early on. Yeah. And for EnVy, you know, it's tough to think of it in the sense that there's a lot of rotations, there's a lot of communication that needs to be on point for you to be a solid team on the CT side.
Now, I mentioned the fact that NRG are playing so many matches in online Counter-Strike. Today they go up against EnVy. In 2 days' time, they go up against Luminosity, and the day after that, they were going up against Made in Brazil. So a little bit of a warm-up before you get to the heavy hitters there, and MIB have certainly looked better across the board from how they started off, right? They just came off the back of the Blast event, and they weren't looking too hot, but now they're starting to find their form again.
Well, they need to.
Massively. You are supposed to be up here. You cannot be down here on the standings. But now looking at the other team, right, looking at EnVy, we see JDM. Yesterday he was able to actually show us a bit of his skill back into the game. We see start and warm up into things. We see Semphis make a few questionable plays. I was quite critical myself on it. But as a team, they're showing that, okay, we're getting a bit more synergy come out of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, they definitely put themselves in advantageous situations. But it's more than anything, it's the fact that a few of these players have definitely been, you can definitely tell they've been away from competitive play for a little while. The likes of JDM, the likes of Semphis, you know, they've been off for a little bit. And then that kind of, I think the outcome of that is that in just basic gunfire situations, they might kind of be a bit lackluster, or their timing might be just half a second off for what they need to do. So that's the way they kind of lost a lot of rounds earlier on. From what we've seen, so that will only come with time. You know, they just need to get more hours in, have to be able to play in these games and be in these situations once again to get on top of things.
Now, talking about getting on top of things, we're going to kind of see a situation here where NRG are going up against an EnVy where they'll have no clue how they're going to kind of play into this on Nuke. Now, JDM, very skilled AWPer in there, nifty. We saw him absolutely play to the level we expect him to do, right? Now, can they deliver and maybe cause the shock factor here against NRG? Because a lot of NRG's games, right, when you look at it, is not where it's like them just kind of destroying them. They had the game against Liquid, it was 16-2, but that was with Zeus playing rather than Twist. Very different dynamic there, but a lot of their games end up being quite close for NRG.
I mean, I'm looking at AV, and I'm saying, first of all, Nifty, I've read somewhere that he wanted to get away from the AWP.
Yep.
So JDM's 100%. He's going to be the main opera for this team, and if he wants to go for the rifle role more, and I'm looking at him and looking at Drone, the guys that so far have impressed me the most in terms of being able to just bring up numbers on the board and being like really, really key mid-round players who can make the plays and get those frags when need be. So those are the kind of guys that I'm looking at in this match in particular, because when it comes to Nuke, there's a ton of mid-round situations. There's rinse and repeat, smoke yard, go to Secret, or try to go, hell, and then make your way to heaven. But then eventually you'll end up, in like a 3-on-4, 4-on-4, 3-on-3 situations, and that's where it's more about the intuition of the individuals. And those are the two guys that I'm looking at who would be able to make the plays, if anyone, from Envy.
Well, the two guys I want to look at and hear from is Launders with his mic hopefully working now, and Scrawny back to it, so you don't have to go 6 rounds deep on your own.
Yeah,
hey, I like the attention.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you're honest about it. We'll give him that
he might have had
attention.
something to do with it. Who knows?
Sabotage. Okay, he's just like, yep.
Jacked it out.
Don't need him anymore.
I think that's what this
is what this
I'm
really
not sure.
means.
I
Right?
really don't know.
But it's more like this.
Yeah, that's between him and production,
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Cut the
like
mic.
he's like, get rid of Launders, man. I don't want him. Screw that guy.
Yeah, I had the same questions as Natu though. Like for Nifty, moving away from the off, why did he want to? And then, and him and Drone, I believe, are the two players that stand out. But that's not enough. Everyone else is kind of like between not so good or okay, but that's not good enough. JDM's like, he's been in a major final before. It needs to be like way better, So it might take some time because they have spent some time out of competitive play. But at least you get a lot of situations where they can double up, which is cool. So Nifty can still use it, still have impact. But everybody's still got to be a lot better, I think. Yeah.
I like that the ability for Nifty to pick up that secondary op is there. It's like it's always an option, but it's never a burden. It's not like he has to take the role. What scares me with this matchup in particular is the fact that it's on Nuke. But I'll get into that once we sign James off. How about you guys go on and get out of here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, don't make me pull out your microphone if you get too cocky, boy.
We'll see you guys in a bit.
Place.
I was just thinking, Launders, I've never seen a new team, which is what Envy is, come into competitive Counter-Strike and for Nuke to be their best map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody's good on Nuke straight out of the gate.
For sure.
Which is kind of something scary for me because NRG are one of those much better teams when it comes to this map in particular.
Absolutely.
So
with the map pool, you kind of have to work your way up.
Exactly, right? And that's what we're seeing from Envy, right? We do keep talking about this. We're seeing them work their way up through the stages of Pro League, facing different calibered teams on a many different map. And this is what we need from them, just a learning curve, right? Remember, this team is here because they had the roster spot of the X-Splice lineup. So what if the first season is a weaker one and they've got to defend themselves once more? I think they definitely have the skill to do that, right? No one's going to surpass them from MDL in my mind. But it's a difficult task ahead, although it begins now.
Definitely. Right here on Nuke, where legends are made, where dreams are killed, destroyed, vanquished. Can you vanquish a dream?
I think so.
Sounds like it.
Would make sense.
Strong push here, JDM on the back foot. He's got to run, he's got to call for help at the same time, and he's got to deal with a bunch of terrorists who have control room.
Yeah, this radar and the fact that we don't have X-ray is not going to help us figure out what's going on. So let's just take a moment to appreciate how little these players truly see. Use that as a chance to recognize their skill sets through the roof, for the most part. Through the vents, down into the lower is NRG.
Yeah, but almost spotted. Oh wow! Like how is he supposed
I didn't
to know?
see that coming,
I
right?
mean, it's scary.
That scared me. I jumped.
We should maybe designate entire rounds to just go without X-ray, just to understand what these players have to go through sometimes with these peaks.
Huge coming off of Heaven for the counter-terrorists. Cirque clears Semphis from the bomb site itself. Him and Fugly, 2v2 versus Cutler and Drone. Interesting scenario, but it is, of course, the bomb down onto the B site, where it will certainly be planted. Fast vent flank, however, not successful from Drone. He simply can't land the headshot. Cirque sitting on 4 kills, a single-handed Cirque show. It's not over yet. Fugly seals the deal, and NRG will start this T side with a very, very complicated pistol.
Yeah, it seems like Drone was like aiming only for the head, missed all his bullets pretty much, hit one at the end, but needed to get that kill obviously, but Cirque was just a bit too strong. his weakest point in the round, but he still managed to get the kill. So 4 frags for him, and successful pistol round from NRG, even though they barely pull it off. And so, you know, there's still a chink in the armor there. But now Cirque is swinging outside. No one's here to defend against it. He's gonna have free roam. You definitely, as a deagler, would like to see an AK fly outside here if you're playing in Big Garage. We still don't know exactly where the stack is. There's one player outside. That's EnVyUs. Just making sure they can't cross past a certain point. I think it's maybe all under heaven or lower.
I don't really know. It's, like, of all the maps, the radar is so useless.
Are they all in heaven?
They must be up above.
Where are these guys?
There's at least one. Here they are, out on the rooftop, all around Daps, in fact.
That's an interesting stack.
Yeah, does punish the heaven play, but at the same time, NRG is still content to walk out onto the A site. It is here that they'll attempt to plant their bomb. Breezy gives cover to Fugly, so certainly down. And that redirects the counter-terrorists over towards Mini, which Cirque resides within. And he knows that the last man's outside, so there you go. 2-0.
I like that. It was hard to find out where they were, and if, you know, players come into A site, they've got a high-low advantage and a headshot angle to deal with, even though they might get naded. And if anybody comes outside or they try to wait for a lurk from a terrorist to wrap, they get killed, and that's what we saw. So that's pretty unique way to play a pistol round. I like it. JDM on the op, EnVy without a round, but they've still got hope. The MAC-10s, however, might be very effective if a couple players don't have head armor.
Right into Nifty, traded immediately so. Lots of damage being dealt back here to the terrorists though. Cutler gonna cut them down. 4v2 now. NRG, I like it. Come into the first gun round, just try to go for that rampant door push, explode into the A bomb site, and they manage down vent, so they still get their plant at the very least. It's working in this 2 versus 4 situation that's going to be difficult for them.
3 players, no head armor. This MAC-10 is as strong as ever, man. I don't know.
Tries to play the off angle and anticipates a second to come out. Frag grenade, the predecessor of Cutler, who swings wide after the fact. So yes, it is just the MAC-10 left over. Got a Molotov, actually.
Oh, he's going to stick the plant. Door's got to open. Might be too late.
10-second defuse too. Can't quite manage it. Even though he shaves off a little more health, there's no way Daps can deny this.
Oh my god.
And just as it's about to explode.
Holy smoke. I didn't even realize it was that close. That's crazy. That was very tight defuse. Had to absolutely get on it at that moment. Like how they dealt with Cirque, where they threw the nade out and then swung out. It was too much pressure for Cirque to think about with the low HP that he had to both juggle the nade that was flying at him and then the 2 CTs that were flying out of it at the same time. So good way to neutralize him for sure. Good attempt in the 2v4 to win the round. It really came down to the final few milliseconds, literally. And overall, upstairs hold was solid. Started with a kill from Nifty, the guy we have eyes on right now. Daps to take control of outside. JDM looking off the corner of a smoke in Big Garage. Doesn't have his AWP this round. So that is one negative thing to say, but otherwise they're not in bad spots. Cirque, however, gets a key kill, and oh, it's too aware for JDM. There was a moment there where he could have peeked out.
This is big. This is a big play from Cirque to establish a 5 versus 3. Even though EnVy picked up that first round, I mean, a lot of their players had to reinvest. So there's a lot on the line for them to fight back from this disadvantage. And I think something could happen if Drone actually manages to wrap around into heaven, but unfortunately for him, his teammate dies in the meantime, and that's just going to cause them to flood into the A site. Everybody falls here for EnVy. Nobody on the other end. NRG, 5 guys up. And Drone would just love to slink away.
Super tough round. When it rains, it pours is what it felt like, where JDM had a little bit of info because the smoke wasn't perfect, because I don't think the smoke can be perfect on Big Garage. And then he doesn't, I think as soon as the op goes on cycle, maybe that's the time he needed to peak. But we know better than him, obviously, because Cirque wasn't turned around quite yet. But since he did anyway, him doing it as late as he did seemed to be an issue. but that's not even where the terror stops. NRG taking heavy control and then having Ethan, who is amazing on the entries, come into the fold to make things even worse. EnVy back on pistols. And let's see if they do anything interesting here on this round.
Bulgarian Beast. Here's the player fall down. That was just off of the hut. So you should know that he's close. It seemed like he heard it.
Yeah, he turned a bit. He definitely, it was in his mind for a moment.
Regardless, he gets Semphis instead.
That was nice.
So once more, Cirque opening up these opportunities. Finds Nifty, a third, fourth.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Yes, Cirque.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's another one.
Hot damn, that op on fire right now.
Yeah, you see the movement is so good. Wait, he just
Get around the
strays
corner.
backwards.
Doesn't put himself in full, full open. Again, falls back to a different corner. Really good repositioning, and then when he has that teammate in front of him, it's the confidence to just gun down to the last.
Definitely. Really good stuff.
Pistols yet again.
Oh. Terrible situation for EnVy. Get economically battered. Drone comes flying out through radio. And there's no one to perform the crunch, which is a very popular hug strat to try to get into the lobby, but I'm confident it works at all levels, especially if Ts are playing in there. It's hard to stop if you're not going to go ahead and take ramp control. You've got to stop Squeaky, you've got to stop hut, ramp. It's a few good angles there. It's like as if all the players in the Ts are in apartments on Inferno and the CTs come into apartments. That's what it feels like.
Cutler looks down, perfect timing. Even just a little bit more damage onto Fugly. So even though it's weapons here for NRG, it's 3v3. And they've got this verticality in the form of heaven. Cirque, though, just consistently the difference maker as of so far.
Right. Molotov just derails the round completely with that kill, and now they're just on the full retake, both their spots once known. And it's just a scavenger mission. Scavenger hunt. Those are all usually fun. Probably not so fun in this game. You must have good scavenger hunts in rural Canada.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you have a big yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so much Did it make you more adventurous
Yeah, definitely.
being out in the country?
Yeah, I was an adventurous kid until I found out about the internet.
And
Like
then-
I used to when I was growing up, like we had all sorts of animals, horses, goats, ducks, big property, constantly outdoors, built tree forts.
Damn.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
You still keep some of that with you, though.
What's that?
You could keep some of that with you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think it shapes me. Like I'm comfortable in nature. I think it actually helped me with my sense of navigation. I'm very good at always knowing which direction we should head. I remember routes after one time. But
No need for Google Maps.
yeah, you don't want to get lost in the woods. You don't want to play that game. It's Canada, but it's still rural. Bears. Moose. Breeze on the loose. Flies right down into the mini. He is turned back by Cutler, but Ethan's then just going to take this place. So very successful trading so far. Semphis comes in from the corner. Excellent second kill. And he almost manages a third, but Cirque, with minimal HP, just 2 health, can still stand on shaky legs. JDM, scoped up, nails him. That's the bomb into the open, and then Drone comes in from behind. Good trade frags there from EnVyUs.
Yeah.
I mean, NRG, they tried to keep it rolling, and Semphis had to make the difference.
Definitely. I mean, he needed 290 damage. Even the player who almost dies there, Sir, coming out of hut, he is dead meat after that. So, really well done. Really well done by him in that spot. Was the huge difference maker. Another successful upper hold. The way that they won the first round that they won.
Uh-oh, don't poke your head out. Cirque's ready to take it clean off. That's JDM, the other opper, over towards the secret stairs. So could be a clash of the snipers on the outer yard. There's plenty of targets to take, but Ethan does find him first. So the sniper down for EnVy. And the last time they picked up a round, it was answered straight back. You'd hope for EnVyUs' case that would not be the same this time now. Money is not good for them. Honestly, neither is this position because they're starting to get wrapped around from outer. Ethan could just protrude in through heaven if need be. That would give the T's of verticality yet again. So many EnVyUs players down on the floor of the A site, and that leaves you susceptible. It's not an easy duel you're giving yourself here in Semphis' position. Ethan's still going to walk out, dodges the first shot, and he's got teammates in every other possible route. You've got Hut, you've got Mini, and that's where two separate duels now unfold to the favor of NRG. So look at the way it all goes their way. One after another, piece by piece, falling into the slot. But Semphis still hasn't been dealt with. That's 3 kills from him individually within this site. Tries to run, swaps to the USP. Cirque just barely guns him off with the Glock. But wow, Semphis, he's on one tonight.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Semphis like this in many, many years. Like, so that's nice to see. And we only get to see a small portion of his matches, so maybe he's feeling good overall. But that's a very solid hold from him. And with 9 seconds remaining, maybe there was a world where he does sneak away from the pistol of Drone, gets in the huts, or even gets that kill, and then Breeze can't track him down. So I came close, and maybe if you had gotten those fights earlier, it would have been a different story.
This is unfair. NRG just exerting force as they run into the A site. Obvious anti-eco, they know. And because of that, they just gun down Envy. No respect in that round.
Damn, Circa's 18-2. That is nuts, man. This is not many rounds so far. And yeah, he's gotten so much action. So Envy have to eco one more time, and that has been kind of the story for them in this game. It's been 4 ecos straight up so far. That means that NRG have done just all the right damage. Made sure to separate the rifle round wins as well as possible. Decent flash outside, but Fugly gets the entry. Breeze makes it 2. Daps chimes in, and it's just down to Semphis and Cutler. Split up. Unclear what NRG want to do, but they've got lots of control.
Ooh, that was so close. Would have been a nice one, but Semphis not given another chance at the heroics. Cutler was the only player with the primary gun this round, and unfortunately for him, by the time he finds targets, and he does do damage, the rest of his team is nowhere to be found. So an 8th round for NRG, and that's a great time for a pause.
Yeah, they are going to call it just to talk about things. What can they do differently? Their upper holds have been pretty good. They might want to think about, and it's actually looks like it's Envy. What am I talking about? That is the team that we expected to pause. They have had solid time holding upper for the most part. It's been a little bit weird on some of the rounds. A lot of the rounds ended in upper, so that stat might be skewed, but it's the other parts of the map that are much harder. I think where NRG could cause even more of a problem is if they put more pressure on lower. If they run to lower quickly, I think that's where the rotations become the hardest, and that's where a lot of good teams will bully lesser teams, is by if there are good protocols to get downstairs, wrapping the B site, and then forcing the rotations that are so scary for the CTs. You know, I think they've still left that open. They haven't really abused that yet.
What they have abused is certainly those fast A plays, right? Semphis denies them once, but other than that, it's been NRG's portion of the map over and over.
Nifty showing a shoulder. That means he could be trapped if his teammate behind him throws a Molotov to flush Nifty out of his spot. Dangerous place to be right now. We can see he's considering it.
You know he's worried.
Yeah.
He has a smoke if he wanted to extinguish it, but unfortunately for him,
Uh-oh.
it's actually been that pressure over towards the ramp that enables NRG to head down towards B. And even if he smokes himself off, I mean, he can't leave. And that's the thing, is if you lose ramp, you need to start those rotation downwards. It's the rotations on Nuke that are so crucial. So if you get an opening from NRG and you also have them containing movement elsewhere, that just spells disaster for the poor defense that's being ripped apart one by one.
Man, how did Fugly even get to JDM there? He was in the vent. Fugly was in the lower site. Did he open the door, run in, and just chase him down? But I have no idea. But JDM had none either. Just now Semphis, and as good as he's been, if you keep him as the last alive, it's going to be impossible for him to really make a difference.
Just wants to live.
That's all he
Leave
wants.
me alone.
Is that so much to ask?
The bomb doesn't blow him up. He should be fine.
Yeah, at least there's that. Kind of giving him some peace and quiet.
Now he's gone.
Oh, there it is.
Couldn't afford to take damage. And in doing so, he is whisked away.
That's a very mellifluous word.
Yeah. I don't know why I used it. I think that's the first time I've ever used it in a cast.
Wisp away?
Yeah, wisped.
Should include that.
SP.
We've been axing a lot of words from the vocabulary. I think that's a word that we include. What's the opposite of axe? Add. I don't know.
What's the opposite of subtract? You can figure it out yourself.
Pull the axe out.
Back into the pistols. This is a look that, unfortunately, we've seen a little too much from Envy here already on Nuke. I don't want to see them suffer.
No.
But it's happening thus far. Unless it's a highway robbery. Begins inside of Mini. Nifty. Upgrades into the AK. Nobody else wants to face him now, but Cirque is curious.
He hit him.
A little damage looks good, but it's still breezy to get that opening. Cirque deals with the pressure of the door push. It's very hard to get him uncomfortable.
It's that play is math for him. Like, he literally shot and then fell back, even though Nifty wasn't going to repeat and killed his teammate, and then finishes off his prey. Maybe he knows he's got one left. There it is, but
Gobbles straight up.
oh, okay. Well, that's an op recovered. Cutler can go ahead and snag that one.
Now run.
Yeah, run and don't stop.
Don't look back. But maybe look down.
That wouldn't hurt.
So 10-2, Cirque on an absolute tear. 22-4. Double the amount of kills of the second most fragger in the form of Ethan.
Nuts. Nuts. Yeah, and as we know, when Cirque is on, he's unstoppable. You know, that's the player he is. Hitting all the flicks, he's very smart with the way that he approaches angles and fights and never overextends, and all of the good things that you could say about an opera that you'd like to see. Drone now gets in action. Does some damage.
Substantial damage. Look at him go. Gets a kill. Cirque to 12. Fugly 53. It's a little something, something. But Ethan also finds himself one outdoors, traded by JDM. Good to see the Opera coming to life here of Envy. It's never too late to at least get a more respectful score. 5 is the best case scenario. With the bomb already planted, eventually Envy are going to have to make their move, and they have one kit on Nifty. Lots of grenades, but it's not like this is an easy bomb site to use that utility. You don't have an open skybox. You don't have anything really other than walls to bounce the frags off. And that will do something.
Look at that, open plants. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about the difficulty of grenades. It is easy to put a molly or smoke on it, and that's what they've done. So they've got to get the diffuser off this. Nifty, he's sticking it. He's cleared. So Cirque's won the round just like that.
Oh my god. Is he able to shoot faster than most operas? Just does his cycle shorter too? Does he unlock the perk? Is there
Yeah, he's got that straight bolt attachment.
straight bolt attachment?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just appeared on his gun after he reached 20 kills in round 13. That's mad.
They gave it to him when he moved to America as if he needed help.
Nice, yeah.
They wanted to give him a chance, and then he's like, you fools.
You fools. I'll take that and run with it. Again, been the king of squeaky. Not easy to find these openings, but he is seeking them out. He's attracting people to his crosshair. Hit the shots he's not supposed to. He's making this one look quick.
That's another thing, is that he's playing a position that you'll sometimes see CT teams try to contest, right? They love to run through squeaky bar, go into lobby. You know, what's a good eco strat for, okay, a pistoled CT team? Normally run into lobby. Apparently, it's also nifty just winning duels outdoors.
Yeah, outdoors with a pistol.
CZ75, not a problem. So for what seems like maybe one of the first times ever, NRG are playing off the back foot. 3v5. Fortunately for Team Envy, they're not all well equipped, but if they keep this up, they will be. Are we going to see a clean sweep eco?
Unreal. And Cirque's still up, but again, just like the Semphis, who's playing really well. If you just you let him live to the end of the round, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be impossible for him to win 1v5. But maybe
that.
2v4, 2v5.
You say that, but it starts with 1. That's exactly what they've got at this moment, they've decided to reroute outside. Redirecting.
Were you just imitating Google Maps?
Yep.
Okay. Guess you did a good job because they recognized it.
Inwards. Oh, JDM. Just completely blindsided. Like, not even ready.
Yeah, no.
You got 18 seconds left and you're standing in the open.
Yeah, he had no idea that was coming somehow.
Now the rest of the team's going to scramble downwards, and because he gets that kill, there's a bomb plant on top of it, and the counter-terrorists are going to have to retake with no kit. Sure, they've got some guns, but a 2 versus 5, Mohan?
I mean, after that, I mean, I don't know. JDM just needed to play a one-and-done spot, and then, you know,
and you have
1v4, and then
I
how
feel
do you
like
even plant?
you have one of the best spots in that lower yard. You could just be standing on the staircase towards control. You know, you play a headshot angle and keep your eyes towards sight, but it's Cirque. It looks to put this one to bed. He gets back towards the door, runs in, won't find the frag, jumps on bomb, but I don't think there's time here. This is no defuse. Team Envy should not have this round. This is NRG with the 12th.
Oh my god, is it? Whoa, okay. Jesus. 2v5 actually on the eco, and look at all the work that Nifty did. They have got to be kicking themselves. I would just be apologizing to Nifty at that point. Really don't know how JDM gets caught that badly out of position. Because like sometimes your teammates are talking, you don't hear stuff, but like I feel like you at 2v5 you all find a spot and you think, all right, all I have to do is trap a guy, sit in the vents, or you know, like.
And on top of it, that's the thing, is like, why would you want to sit in vent? Like that's an awful spot nowadays.
I mean, he wasn't though. He wasn't even doing that. He was like jumping into the vent, which is...
like so. What, like that's where I'm asking my question. It's kind of like, what's the game plan here? You know, you're giving up the stairs for vent, unless you were rotating up to A, but that wouldn't have made sense.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, any of the spots would have been fine, but he didn't have any spot at all. So that's a really weird one. And the post plan, it's like 2v3 at that point, but you feel like the T's win, right?
Yeah.
That's probably how they felt as the CT's approaching that.
Again, remember, no kit. Nobody was in position. It seemed like, you know, EnVyUs, I almost feel like the rest of the team assumed that they had the round of the bag. Nobody was that close to the B rotate. They were just all sitting back and waiting.
So the double off will be the answer to their problems. Nifty, JDM have them, but the lower site getting taken, these ops are not going to be able to be as effective as they'd like at this point, probably. Oh, Septus, he's been good. He stops the entry, but gets traded immediately. Drone, though, is here to work with his teammate. Unfortunately, Ethan is just going to take matters into his own hands, jumps right into him. Fugly goes down to the op of JDM, so there's something. Nifty also actually chimes in. I take it all back. The ops have been a good thing. One player on the upper site. The drop was heard. And Breeze is going to know now what's going on here. Smoke goes out. Cutler's not going to overstay his welcome. And he's made it out of Squeaky. Breeze front side of the site.
Waiting for his target to round that box. Breeze not worried about his back just yet. Now he can fixate on it. Flash goes high. Missed by the off. Player falling down, and Nifty makes the sidearm work.
I don't even know. Was he the guy that was blind falling out of heaven, or was he the other guy? Because the flash looked good.
Because of our awesome replay system.
We can maybe figure this out.
Yeah, it's him.
Okay, wow.
USP was up.
He just figured that out while he was blind. Very nice.
So 12-3, obviously not where you want to be after the CT side of Nuke.
Definitely not.
But then again, it's not as though the entirety of NRG ran through you. It was simply a circus.
Wow. Yeah. And this is what we're about to witness is basically going to be a highlight reel of good awareness, extremely strong flicks, and patient play on one of the most explosive players in North America. So that's pretty fantastic stuff. The game quickly got away from Envy. Economically, they had the hardest route to putting rounds together because they couldn't put 2 in a row.
Exactly.
Which is their own fault, but like, you know, that's how you get the most amount of ecos out of a team as possible. Just not used to seeing fast games.
Yeah, no, we had what?
So it's so striking.
Overtime, double overtime, 16-14 last night.
Yeah.
We started off tonight with a 16-14 and a 16-14. Like, what is this? There's going to be a comeback, right?
I mean, I'm holding my breath. I feel like, yeah.
Like, games can't end in less than 20 rounds.
I feel like we can't even jinx it. Like, it's just, feels like regulation. A game that ends in regulation is,
it's not a game that ends at all.
Not a game that ends at all. It feels like a short game. Which is not supposed to.
No. to be the norm.
We have Stockholm Syndrome, or Denmark Syndrome, or whatever. Copenhagen Syndrome.
What would Copenhagen Syndrome be? Great vegetables and beautiful architecture?
Stuck in a farm, eating great expensive.
Yeah.
I like this life.
Yeah. Copenhagen Syndrome, one of the better
Syndromes
ones to have. Fast Clash, Envy, they're just going to charge into the base site, try to keep it simple. And, well, they're traded back and forth. Again, a flurry of frags, but it's left us 3v3 with a bomb most certainly here in the dirt. Cirque. The one-tap dirt map sent this now. Can't get anything more than one. Just headshots and headshots and headshots.
And some more headshots. 30. He's 30-7, man. He's 30-7. It's so much nicer in 16 rounds. It's so much nicer to see 30-7. And he's got 5 assists. He could be 35-7. That's crazy, man. That is so nuts. It's crazy to see. I don't know. It's just crazy to see.
Look, you know, we talk about how EnVyUs are coming into this league as maybe being underdogs and that it's supposed to be a learning experience. And it's good because they've learned something tonight.
Yeah.
Cirque is really good.
Cirque is good. It's a game, yeah. Called CSGO.
They'll walk away with that at least in mind. Fugly with the P90.
And this is a great round for a Cirque to just pile them up, man. Let's go. This is the eco round, you know what I mean? If you don't get 30, wow. It's not, you never get 30 like rifle kills. So we're just trying to set a record here. Just go ahead, Cirque. Have at it, Haas.
Enjoy yourself. Let loose.
Of course he falls back because he's just such a good player. That's annoying.
How dare he? Another peek out from Breeze after he gets himself one.
Oh, look at Cirque. He's taking the long route back to finding kills.
So watch his teammates,
maximizing
right?
his play here.
His other two teammates, they walk into the scopes and they both die after one. Cirque, he makes the play to go get the last two.
Right. Oh, okay. Now do they run back? I don't know. Do they go back outside? I think there's a chance here. Cirque can rack up another 2. Oh, bombs up top. Oh, is he watching it? Oh my God, he is. Oh, damn, that's nuts.
Cutler?
That's crazy. What a deagle shot. He's on for the ace, man. They're about to win the round. Didn't even consider that much.
Cutler?
They didn't get the bomb back. Ethan's gonna see this since he's outside. He knows what's going on. Cutler's down.
Drone is left.
Uh-oh.
Clutch scenario, and Drone's just going to charge forward. He has that MP9, could spray down Ethan, who's just welcoming inwards. And one final headshot for NRG.
Oh my God. Kind of a ridiculous round there.
You know, you said this yesterday, that like Cutler has this newfound motivation, and across yesterday's cash game and now today on Nuke,
good.
Cutler's looked fantastic individually speaking. And like when you look at that lineup, you know, Natu said it, you're looking at like Nifty, Drone, JDM. But hey, Cutler, it's been a while, my buddy.
Where you been at? Yeah.
Good to see you.
Saying hi to Ethan. Yeah. Long time. I heard he's a great teammate too. I've actually heard all of them are, you know, and you don't even have to like get a testimonial. Yeah. They've got a new team.
That whole CLG, that you know, the last CLG we had, I think are all great teammates. Ethan, Cutler, FNS, Rosa. I can't remember their 5th.
Who was the 5th player? Who was even, there was a player who replaced Zabrosis who now, I don't even remember. It's in the past.
Yeah, the long gone past. Counter Logic Gaming. Who's that? You're not in Counter-Strike, you're not on the radar. That's how it works in esports.
Hazed at one point?
Yeah, right, of course. Hayes, there you go.
That was a while ago.
He's a fantastic guy. But it's Cutler once more. Let's see what you're made of. Oh man, a couple of headshots, that's what. And he knows that Cirque's up and close, but Cirque won the better. Daps looking for targets when he should be jumping on the defuse. So a 15th round is found. NRG with quick work of a T side versus Envy.
Are they able to carry this into the next map is the question.
I'm going to look up what the next map is.
NRG are refreshed. They had a long week of matches. Don't know how many more matches they played today. Finished yesterday 6 maps in a row. 6-0.
I saw, you know, yesterday the 6-0, and then Ethan's tweet was just 10 down, 20 to go.
Oh, really? Yesterday?
Yeah, after yesterday's matches.
Holy smokes. Okay. So, you know, they're just taking a deep breath. They know they've got a lot to do left.
Oof. And the next map's Train Lungers.
Oof. Run a train.
It's going to be another tough one for Envy, but again, we talked about the learning experience, the growing experience.
That's what it's all about.
or rather the growing pains.
Growing pains.
In this case.
I think that means it only gets harder or something.
The pains of growing up. You know,
Yeah.
like your first heartbreak.
It's true. I think growing pains are specifically physiological.
Well,
When you get taller.
I'm making it
too quickly.
metaphorical. I'm changing the game.
I like that, you know.
I'm a metaphorical kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's impossible.
Impossible is nothing.
See if this op up close from JDM can do much.
Oh,
No,
yoy, yoy.
not the face of Japs. Another one of these.
Oh my god, that's not fair. That's not fair.
He's gonna get one more.
He ain't deserve it. He will. Oh, he does. He
How about
do.
the last? It's gonna be Cutler.
Why not?
The man has put a mark on NRG at the very least. I mean, a 16-3 scoreline is looking, well, solidified now.
Yeah.
NRG just rip Envy limb from limb.
Limb from limb.
They bury the pieces in different piles and
Yep. Scatter it. Scavenger hunt now to find the body parts.
put us back on schedule after two 16-14s.
That's the real important point.
Rapid work here on Nuke, but I'd say that is to be expected. NRG, one of the better North American Nuke teams. EnVyUs, one of the lesser opponents here in the North American Pro League
Definitely.
this season.
No sugarcoating.
But you know what? Let's just go ahead, walk away, and refresh for train. We'll meet you guys there.